Well, we've just completed our day at the Riverlink Shopping Centre and done some banking or pay the bill, and then we had some Nando's. Here's Mark to open the last little bit of our show with that.
Yeah, so we've been to another new destination, so the Riverlink Shopping Centre in North Ipswich, and I was just saying it's way bigger than it looks from the outside. Once you get into it, it's very spread out, so it's taken us a good couple of hours to actually get around it.
So like what we said, okay, the shows are winding up after 8 months in. So we hope that you enjoy the final leg of our adventures, and coming up next Monday, we revisit some of the places we have been. So join us next Monday, and next Tuesday, if you like the White Yum guys, we might do that again for you. Here's Mark.
Well, I was just looking in the fridge today and I saw a container of White Yum sitting there just begging to be eaten. So I'm hoping that'll be finished before next Tuesday.
So the last little bit of our show, okay, we'd like to say a huge thank you everybody for tuning in, and as always, if you've got any suggestions you'd like to share with us, please do. And while we do have you here, the taxi meter is running, so each time the taxi moves or stops, the meter will tick over. Here's Mark now.
Yep, so we've covered the meters in the past and that they tick over with the kilometres, or if they sit for a long time they tick over with time, but mostly it's on kilometres. So as you move, the meter ticks over. Faster you go, the meter ticks over faster.
So we don't need to show you a taxi meter because we've already shown you one. Guys, thanks for your company today, and we look forward to your company next Monday morning for episode 73 and 74 on Tuesday. So do join us then. Here's Mark for his farewell right now.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in everyone, and as Barry said, next Monday, Tuesday, episode 73 and 74, tune in again.
And then as we end today's show, just reminding you, do not call for an ambulance unless you need to. Say 000 for emergencies. Here's Mark now to close the show with that.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, 000 is for emergencies only. So the emergency services are fire, ambulance, police. If you need one of them, you call 000. If you don't need one of them, don't call 000.
And we have an ambulance is passing us right now, actually. So, very important to respect paramedics when they do a job. So on that note, guys, ta-ta, bye-bye, farewell, until we see you again on the next show, and thank you to our 1-3 cabs as well. They've been great. And Bruce, if you are watching, hello. And Neil, if you are watching, hello. Thanks for your service. Until next Monday and Tuesday. Thanks for your company, and bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
This is episode 74, and now it's 25 after 10, Tuesday morning, the last day of January. Good morning, Barry and Mark with you. And this is the Barry and Mark show. And today, again, we're up to Silkstone. Now, we're not going to tell you how important it is to attend doctor's appointments, because I think all of you know this by now. Okay? Because if we press the repeat button, we're telling you ad nauseum over and over again, and you'll probably think we've heard all this before, so why should we tell you this again? So guys, there's really no need to repeat ourselves. And joining me now in the studio for episode 74, the opening of episode 74, it's a very good morning to Mark English and your one and only yours truly, Barry Fair, with a blocked right ear. Good morning, Mark. Welcome.
Good morning, Barry. I'm yelling in your right ear because I know you can't really hear it. So, welcome to the show, viewers, episode 74. Looking forward to it. So, as Barry said, not long we'll be off to Silkstone and hopefully get something done about that white stuff growing out of Barry's ear.
And that is cotton wool.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Cotton wool. But still, hopefully, something will happen so that he doesn't need that cotton wool there anymore.
So, if something is not right, guys, go to the doctor, sort it out. Don't just sit there and wait until it's too late and you're hurting like buggery. Now, I usually wouldn't say buggery on the show, but that's how my ear has been for a while. So, if I've offended you viewers, sorry about that.
Yeah, well, it's been a while now too, hasn't it, Baz? Because, you've been on the antibiotic drops now for at least 7 days.
Yep.
So, and it seems to be, unfortunately, getting worse. So hopefully get it sorted out.
So I'm, like I said, I'm sorry I said the word buggery, but ear infections are no fun.
Absolutely not. Painful little things, aren't they?
And I'm not trying to offend you viewers that watch the show, but believe Mark and myself here, it is not it's something that we don't want to do, okay, because I don't think buggery is a swear word, but the others are. But when something hurts like crazy, okay, sometimes you've got to let it out. But we will not wallow. We've got a fantastic show coming up for you today, as always. And just recapping the bacon and egg pie from yesterday, we made that up, and boy, it was something to behold. Here's Mark now to get us back on the positive track and to open the positive side of the show with that.
Yes, you did enjoy the bacon and egg pie yesterday, and you know, the more I do, the more experimental it becomes, and in many ways, the easier it gets, even though it doesn't get much easier than it already is. But I quite enjoy making that for you, Barry, because
It's easy
and it looks great when it's finished.
and it's done within a blink of an eye and go.
It is actually so easy to do, it's ridiculous.
So why don't you go ahead and make it? It's that easy. So what you do, get some pastry, good pastry of course. Then you add your salt and pepper, your chopped up bacon, okay? Your mixed herbs, and if you want to add anything, add some mixed veggies to it. Here's Mark.
Yeah, you pretty much could add anything you like to it, couldn't you, Barry? There's nothing special about the batter. It's lightly beaten eggs, and
It's not like you're making French toast or anything, so to speak.
well, it's even easier than French toast. You whip it up, throw it all in the one thing, shove it in the oven, and 40 minutes later it's ready.
And voila, it's all done.
I am surprised at how long it takes to cook. So it is like 40, 45 minutes, and it does take that long. So just be aware that it does take a bit longer than you think it's going to take for effectively some eggs.
So before you put anything in the oven, make sure that you've got a good oven-proof dish. Otherwise, if it's not oven-proof and it can crack easily, then that's all your hard work wasted. And all your ingredients wasted. So when you are cooking, guys, make sure that you have good quality ovenware. Okay? Here's Mark.
You're right, Barry. And another interesting little tidbit, because there wasn't an appropriate sized pan in the house when we went to make the first one, I bought one of those dimpled metal tins. So it's like the 9-inch square cake tin with dimples on the bottom and a non-stick surface on it. And yesterday we didn't have any butter in the house to line the tray with first. So I thought, oh, here we go, perfect. So it doesn't need to be lined with butter or anything like that before you bake it. It worked perfectly, and pastry worked out beautifully. So one of those metal tins with the the dimples on it and the non-stick surface from Woolies, cheap as chips.
So go ahead, guys, and make this bacon and egg pie. We can tell you that it's easy to do, a perfect activity to do when it's wet and miserable, and enjoy it with a side salad or some hot chips. Go Aussie, be an ocker. Here's Mark.
Well, I like it. I like the idea of bacon and egg pie and hot chips, but I suppose the chips could go in the oven at the same time as the pie. And there you go, meal done.
And it's great for lunch or dinner or tea. And if you want to make a double batch of it, put it in the freezer, okay? If you get home from work late, whack it up, get it out of the freezer, let it thaw, turn on your oven, guys, okay? Simple. Go into the oven and then let it cook. And when your pastry's cooked, let it stand for a couple of minutes before serving with the salad. So just an idea in case you get home from work late and you are absolutely buggered and you don't feel like cooking. Here's Mark.
Yeah, not a bad idea, Baz, because it's one of those frozen meals that takes no time at all to reheat. And as you say, it's nice and simple. You get a few serves out of the one cook. So, it's pretty good value as well.
So another way of preparing meals is what we're going to talk about next. Now, if you are tired and you come home from work, okay, and you've had a really exhausting day, it is very important to have frozen meals on hand. Because who wants to spend 2 hours cooking? No parent does. So, our advice to you today is go out, stock up with some frozen meals, and you're laughing. Here's Mark now.
Absolutely. Or, when you do cook, make sure you cook extra to be able to freeze the meals. And that way you can eat the food that you want when you want it, but you don't have to put all the effort in every time. So exactly like bacon and egg pie, cook once, at least 3 meals for one person. It's probably 2 meals for 2 people in a civilized world, and very easily done. So, I have to admit, Barry, that my wife and I often used to do a bit of a cook up on Sunday, and that'd leave us with that meal, then leftovers for Monday and maybe Tuesday, and frozen meals for later on. So we do tend to find that it's very hard to cook food, so you always get leftovers. And when you're cooking something from a recipe, etc. But otherwise, very handy to be able to have a few frozen meals in the freezer.
So, like I've said, Sometimes if you get home very late and you are frustrated because you've been stuck in traffic in the rain and you just want to get home, get a simple meal out, something that's not going to take 2 hours to cook, then we suggest you try some of those recipes, some of the tips we brought to you today. Here's Mark.
I can't really add to that. I think that's an excellent suggestion, Baron. You know, you can either choose to take up the tips or ignore them at your leisure.
So, get some containers, some containers with lids, of course, and always make sure you label and date the food. The date of when you cook your food and when you cook. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you only need the one date, the date you cook the food. And then you can figure out from there whether it's too old or not when you pull it out of the freezer.
So always look up on how long frozen meals can be kept in the freezer, sorry. That's very important because the last thing you want to have happen is food poisoning. We spoke about this last year at Bray Park. So guys, Mark and I have given you some very helpful tips. So why don't you go shopping now, get some containers with some labels, and get cooking up and stock the freezer full of nice healthy meals. Here's Mark now.
Yep, it'll stand you in good stead. And on those nights when you come home tired and frustrated and you just don't feel like cooking, you won't have to.
Because if you've had a meeting that's gone on for say 2 to 3 hours and you're thinking, oh, I'm not gonna have time to cook. But what you can do, guys, is get up early in the morning. That's if you have a slow cook. Whack your ingredients in that, and then you've got yourself a nice casserole simmering away in the slow cooker. Then you won't have to worry about it. Here's Mark.
Also a good option. Of course, that one requires a lot more preparation because effectively you're cooking the meal, just not in the evening. So it's not like having spare food in the freezer because you've got to be ready to go when you want to cook it and effectively have all the ingredients. And yep, it's a very good way if you know you haven't got a busy morning, but you're going to have a busy evening. Slow cookers are great.
So look up on good slow cookers, guys. That's all you've got to do. Here's Mark.
And there are a pile of slow cooker recipes, and once you've had a couple, you'll realise they're extremely easy because they tend to be just everything into the pot and turn it on. So it doesn't get much easier than that. very little prep time, and the food's generally beautiful by the time you pull it out.
And serve your meal with rice and mixed veggies, guys. Here's Mark.
Absolutely, you can have it with rice and mixed veg. Very preferential thing. So if you want to have chips, you have chips. If you want to have mixed veg, you have mixed veg. Doesn't really matter what you have, as long as you're feeding yourself well.
So, with winter not too far off, and summer almost ending, well, it's the 31st of January today. We're into the last month of summer already. And speaking of the
And
last,
I feel like we've only just started.
and I feel like we've only just started. Okay, because speaking of last month, tomorrow being the 1st of February, I've only got 19 days after this one.
Exciting times, isn't it, Barry?
And here is Mark to tell you about it.
Yep, so you're scheduled to leave on the 20th, so hence the maths. And that time's going to pass really quickly, but finally the time is arriving. I know this couple of weeks will probably go very quickly, but considering you've been waiting since May, it's been a long time coming.
Because how many months is that?
Oh, enough to be
digging my heels in the sand. So guys, we're gonna take a break now and make a phone call and continue the show out at Silkstone. Here's Mark now to close the first part of our show with this.
Thanks, Baz. And you're right, we are off to Silkstone, hopefully in half an hour, and we'll be back with more after our short outing. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do after Silkstone, so we'll see you when we see you.
So before we do go, guys, okay, the number, and we will say this at the end of today's show. 000 is not a number to be mucked around with or buggered around with. Sorry for saying buggered, but it's the only way I can put it. Because some people do tend to be buggering around with 000 sometimes. And the worst 000 call is when people say they need a lift to the doctors. No, don't do that. You're wasting resources and time. So our advice to you, if you haven't got a life-threatening emergency, don't muck around with 000, because you are potentially taking away the service that somebody needs, like me, because transport is very limited. Here's Mark now to take us out.
Thanks, Barry. I can't really add to that. You've kind of covered the fact that it's an emergency services only number, and that people who ring it not needing it are just buggering it up for everyone else and potentially endangering lives.
Like
so I'm just going to leave it there.
And I'm just going to leave it there. And why don't you donate to Lifeway? Every little bit helps. We'll be talking about that too. So, we'll see you at Silkstone, guys.
See you there.
Bye-bye. Well, good afternoon and welcome back to Silkstone. This program is proudly presented to you by the Silkstone Shopping Centre. Well, unfortunately, I've got still the same problem as last week, but we will not worry today on this. And the celebrations are continuing here as I wind down the show, or wind up the show, get it right, Barry. So, as we slowly wind up productions here, Mark and I would like to take the opportunity of thanking you very, very much for tuning in, being a part of our morning. Here he is, on his opening sequence on this. And the second part of our show today.
Thanks, Barry. Welcome back, everyone. Yeah, so ongoing ear infection for Baz means that a change of medication and, you know, another week of treatment. So hopefully this will take care of it this time, and the pain will subside, which would be nice.
Yeah, so like we said last week on episode 72, okay, do not neglect pain. You've got to deal with it. Here is Mark to reenact on that.
Yeah, so Barry's pain comes from his ear infection, and it's really just the pain that lets him know that he needs to have something done about it. Although in this particular case, he's also got muffled hearing, so but that's a separate issue to his infection, and that'll get sorted after the infection's been sorted out. So first things first.
So let's go off the ear infections now and talk about the wind up of the show. Now, 10 months ago I started this show. Now we won't go all over the history of it because most of you have heard this ad nauseum and ad nauseum, so Mark and I don't repeat ourselves. But we want to say thank you for tuning in and being part of our audience, and Mark, thank you for being such a great outsider along the way, and it's just been an absolute privilege to have you come to Brave Park and Ipswich on Monday and Tuesday. What a great time we have had.
Yes, we have had a great time, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So I think I've learned a lot more than anyone else, because, as I said to you, Barry, I've never had anything to do with YouTube or videoing myself or, you know, putting things up. So it's all been one giant learning curve for me.
So, we usually babble on about when the courtship was zero, but we're not. But we will tell you that now. Okay. You do not courtship with zero unless it's an absolute emergency, but we will get to that at the end of this program today. But the important thing as I begin to wind up the show is the fact that you have welcomed me into your lives and allowed me to film interesting places for you. I'd like to explain where we've gone. We have gone to Scarborough, Shorncliffe, you name it, we've been everywhere. And now here we are for the second time in 7 days at Silkstone. And we are outside Silkstone using gifts, and look at that lovely teapot and china mug set in there. Wouldn't that make a perfect birthday gift?
Yes, it's, well, maybe not for me, but it'd make a perfect gift for someone. So, yes, it's one of those little places with interesting little knickknacks for sale.
So, at Scarborough, we've done videos on the parks and how to keep them clean, what not to do, like picking up your rubbish and just going because who's going to pick up your rubbish? No one is. Here's Mark.
I should explain for those people that are somewhat new is that means throwing it on the ground. So don't go to the trouble of picking it up just to throw it on the ground again, but absolutely all litter should be picked up and removed, and if there's no bin handy, then it's just got to go back to home with you and go in the home bin.
So we've talked about keeping the parks clean, the waterways clean, the shopping centres clean, you name it, we've done it. And just to give you viewers an idea of how I got the good news, it was on episode 47 and 8. And that's when the breaking news came in. And today it just got even better.
Well, today it was, your flights have been booked, finalised, your travelling carer has been organised and flights booked and finalised, and about the only thing that hasn't already been 100% finalised, as far as I know, are the movers.
Derek will organise that.
Thank you, Derek. Gotta love that.
Saves me having to do the job.
Oh, I was going to say that organising the flight's pretty easy, because even we managed it. A bit of online shopping and paying, etc., and organising flights for a third party, and then sending off the link to the travel documents for the third party to the third party, and what do you know, all successful and done.
Bang. So guys, here we are on the last day of February. A stinking oven-like hot day. So we're going to go somewhere cool now. So we're going to close this part of the show by saying if you haven't got an emergency, guys, don't ring 000. Potentially putting someone at risk. So no, I won't get Mark to elaborate because I might as well do it. 000 is not, and I repeat, it is not a number that can be buggered around with, tampered with, fiddled around with, because the operators are only there to organise the appropriate service that you need, whether it's the ambulance, police or fire. So only bring any one of those three services if you have a genuine emergency. But if you do not have an emergency, leave 000 alone. Go to your doctor for minor issues, like I did today. Here is Mark to close the second part of our show with that.
Thanks, Barry. Yes, it's about being realistic and understanding when things are an emergency or when things are just an emergency to you. So if it's a genuine emergency, please use 000. If it's not, find another way to deal with whatever the problem is and leave 000 for genuine emergencies.
Because like with me, I cannot drive myself to the hospital. So they can get in the car or get Uber or get a cab to get to the hospital. And leave the paramedics to save their people's lives. Okay, but if you are in doubt, guys, do call them to get you checked over. Well, it's time now to go to Riverlink and check out there. So we will continue the show from there and tell you a bit more about why I'm decided to hang up my microphone or switch off the microphone in Queensland. So thank you everyone. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at Riverlink. So until we see you for the third part, enjoy your lunch, and we'll be back with you at Riverlink very soon.
See you soon, everyone.
See you soon. Well, here we are back outside Nando's again, and you all know what it is. Nando's is a chicken place where they sell burgers, fries, you name it. They've got the lot. But we're not here to talk about Nando's. Okay, we're going to be talking about the wrapping up of the show and why we are actually doing it. It is with happiness, but with sadness. But let's start with the sadness first. It is with sadness that Mark and I had to bring this exciting show to a close. And much as you love watching it, well, you know, all good things, they must come to an end. And joining me now, outside Nando's, here at Ipswich Riverlink, it's a good afternoon to almost my outgoing offsider, Mark English, and what a great journey it has been here.
Thanks, Barry. Good to be here, of course. Back at Nando's, which is very nice last time, so very happy to be back.
So, the history of the show, we've already told you about it. Okay, so there's really no need for us to babble on about it because it's all on YouTube for you now. Okay, so guys, Mark and I would really like to hear from you what has been the most favourite episode we've done over the past 10 months. Here's Mark to open the last part of our show with that.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, we'd love to hear from someone, whether you want to give us feedback or ask us a question or provide us with some suggestions, all of which would be absolutely excellent, because whilst we've been calling out for people to drop us a line and give us some hints about anything, we're yet to get our first one, so very keen to get feedback from someone.
So, like all good things, guys, they must come to an end. And, you know, we decided to call it out and about because we thought, well, we might as well call it out and about because we decided to take you on many adventures around Brisbane and South Bank and Scarborough and all that. So next week we'll be putting together more of a collage of what we do best. So I won't give the surprise away just yet, everybody, because we're going to save it until the last show. So get the boxes of tissues out, everybody, because it is a sad time. I mean, I certainly hate making a decision like this, but if the Queensland shoe guys, it doesn't fit well, what's the point of buying? Like, I don't need to tell you why I hadn't liked it up here, because I've already told you. We've already told you this. And what has happened last year is totally gone. It's in the book. Okay, let's focus on the end of the journey. And it is with that. That's what we're focusing on.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks very much. So let's have a look at what we've got here. And we have a bowl of pop chips, yum, and
A BLT wrap.
a BLT wrap. So guys, we won't keep you, but all we would like to say is a really big thank you for joining us. Okay, we're only going to do a short show today because we are winding down, and here is Mark to tell you why.
Well, as you all know, Barry's on the move and heading back to Sydney. So 20th of Feb's the actual flying day, and so our last day together will be the 14th of February, and so obviously we are winding down the show.
Or winding up the show. So, if you would like to make out and about episode with someone that is living in a Thrive house, please let Mark or myself know, because someone else may be able, to be able to make a show with you. So, just because I am leaving, it doesn't mean that no one else can take up the offer of making out and about videos. Because, guys, what is the point of trying? Okay, seriously. Get out there, get yourself a laptop and a desktop computer at home, and get some intros and outros, just like I did, okay, and really get video making, or get the show underway. Well, that's all we've got time for today on this short show. Thank you for your company, and we will see you back at Evervale, and the number that we rely on 24 hours a day, you know what it is. I don't need to tell you. 000. Please do not be stupid and bugger around with that number. Here's Mark to close episode 74 with that.
Thanks, Barry. Yes, don't bugger around with that number. It's an emergency only number, and it's only relevant if you have an emergency. If you don't, please don't distract them. They're there to take really vital calls, not be messed around by people thinking they're funny.
Because the police will be sent to your house and you will be fine. So that's where we'd like to end episode 74 today. And the weather, well, hot and a chance of a late storm, and a very uncomfortable 35, I think it is today. More like 37, the cab driver said. So we're off to enjoy our lunch, and we will see you back at Evervale to do the final wrap-up. Until then, bye-bye everybody.
See you tomorrow.
See you
Next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.